Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Jennifer Hooper, and we're going to be talking about open houses, and we'll add a little bit to that and how you can build a database with it. But thank you very much, Jennifer, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. I know I was teaching a class, and you and I had started talking about what you were doing at open houses and the success you've been having. So we'll just chat about that.
Sure.
All right. So starting with your open house. How do you plan, or where does it start? What day in the week does it start? How do you prepare for your open house?
So I usually get started right on Monday. Basically, as soon as the meeting finishes, I sort of see the realtors that have gotten their open house up on the open house opportunities. I try and I really look into it. I really investigate. I basically look at the house that's got the least amount of signs. So I want like a 2-sign, 3-sign open house that's going to get a lot of traffic. I did one yesterday that was a two open house sign open house, and I ended up with 15 groups through. Nice. So you can't really go wrong with that. And then obviously, so the least amount of signs and the least amount of days on market. But I'm also sort of staying in one neighborhood. So I'm also looking at kind of the deep southwest, least amount of days on the market, least amount of signs needed. I Google and that kind of thing to find out where I would put my signs before I even take the open house.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you're strategic in the areas that you want to focus on as well?
Yeah, definitely. What I'm finding is I'm kind of doing Evergreen, Midnapore, Shaughnessy, those areas, and what I'm finding is the same people are starting to come into the open houses, and then they're like, oh, Jennifer, and they're starting to recognize me, and I'm getting my signs on the main fairways and seeing the same people coming through. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So Monday afternoon, you've gotten your open house planned or picked. Then what?
And then from there, I kind of do a lot of research. So if I haven't, last week I did Midnapore, this week I did Willow Park. So I'm going to start looking into what's happened in the community, how many houses have sold, how many houses have come up since the last time. So I really get to know my product. And I probably do that on Tuesday is usually when I sort of start looking into that. And then my husband does a lot of my social media stuff. And so he starts making my open house thing that says when I'm going to be there and where I'm going to be and puts the pictures up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is actually a good lead into our next question. How do you market it to the public?
So if it's my own open house, obviously I do more. Like if it's my own listing, I do more. Mm-hmm. But if I'm sitting someone else's house from an open house opportunities, I hope that they will put it on MLS in the public part of it and then put it in their comments. So I kind of leave it at that. And then myself, I put it out on my own on my personal Facebook. I put it out on my Twitter, and then I put it out on my social, like my Facebook business page.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't do the sponsorship or anything like that on Facebook. I just, pretty simple.
Yeah, keep it simple?
Yeah.
Okay. The side note to that, if you do ever want to do any print marketing or invites, then CIR Print has the PDF that you can order.
Yeah.
And I really like that one because you can order the PDF regardless if it's your listing or not, and then be able to walk it around. And I've
used those things where you put it on the door. I have done those for my own open house for sure. Okay. Yeah, and that works really well.
Nice.
Gets the neighbors out.
Excellent. So you've gotten the marketing out there. I know you've always got your stuff prepared, but say you're starting from scratch. What presentation materials do you have prepared, and what do you have at the open house?
So I have this binder. I just call it my open house comparative market analysis. I have it sitting on the kitchen counter, and inside of here there is a comparative market analysis, a quick CMA of what is currently for sale and what is sold in the last 60 days. Basically, I just highlight the house that I'm sitting at and use it to show, where, if somebody says, oh, the house is too expensive or whatever, it's like, oh, well, it kind of is sitting in the middle of the community. And then I'm able to pull it up. I have my iPad there as well, And so I show, I'm able to say like, oh, and then they see like, oh, well, what did this house sell for? And then they're like, what did it look like? What did the pictures look like? So I have my iPad there that we can show the different communities in it, or the different sales. And so I use that. And then I also have my preferred client update that I have every month. And I also have some information about Best My Nest. I have water at my open houses and candy. People love candy. Timbits weren't working anymore because nobody would take them, and then I'd have to bring them home. And my husband he was like, no more Timbits. You got to have something that's non-perishable. I've got like a setup where I put the MLS sheets in a holder, and it's a nice setup. It looks nice when they come in. It's got the sheets and the business cards, and I've got my mortgage broker's business cards.
Nice.
And
just a professional presentation.
yeah, it just looks good. The iPad's there. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we've all been to the open houses where the realtor's sitting watching the football game or something on TV and just give you the nod and say, how's it going?
Yeah.
How do you engage the people walking through your open houses?
So as soon as I see somebody walking up to the house or I hear somebody ruffling at the front door, I go right to the door, I open the door, I welcome them, I say, welcome, I'm Jennifer Hooper, I introduce myself. I've already grabbed an MLS sheet from wherever it's been sat, and then I head, and I give that directly to the wife, and I give a little bit of tidbit information about the house. So as soon as they walk in the door, I say, how did you find us? Did you see us online, or did you follow the signs? And then depending on what they say there, then it's like if they say, I saw it online, it's like, okay, well then you know kind of what you're walking into, but let me just give you the highlights. So I say, this property is listed at this price, there's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, the basement's fully developed. Mm-hmm. Take a look around, I'm not gonna follow you, I've already seen the house, and please let me know if you have any questions. And then if I notice them, and that's pretty much it. And then if I notice them looking at something, then, like in my last listing, the windows upstairs had been replaced, but the windows on the main floor hadn't. So they were looking at the windows and they're like, and they say to the wife, oh, the windows haven't been replaced. And it's like, the windows down here haven't been, but actually upstairs they all have been.
Right.
And it's stuff like that where you're not following them around, but you're listening to what they're saying and kind of engaging that way.
Do you ever suggest like purchase plus improvement mortgages for replacing windows if that's a big?
Yeah, I have definitely.
Nice.
And not a lot of people know about that.
That's the key, is presenting. I find that in real estate, everybody thinks they know everything. Yeah. So one of our jobs is to show that we actually know more than the general public.
Exactly.
So I like those kind of tidbits.
Exactly.
You mentioned a strategy without kind of mentioning it, but why giving the feature sheet to the wife?
Wives buy houses. The final say is going to be the wife. Yeah. And I know if my husband and I were buying a house, I would want them to give me the MLS sheet, and it works like a charm. Yeah. Yeah, it works.
I agree, it does work. I find it a good statement.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the challenging things with the open houses is the next meeting.
Yeah.
How do you get that next meeting? What makes people want to work with you beyond the initial meeting at the open house?
I think that what I do really well at the open house is that I have all the information, and I'm not that realtor that's sitting there watching the football game. And I find that the clients are just happy that somebody's acknowledged them and that they've engaged with them. Mm-hmm. And if they do have a question, I'm able to answer it, and they like that. I'm not the kind of realtor that does take their information. I kind of leave it in their court, but I'm finding that that's working for me. I'm saying, like, I have all this information. If you want more information, please contact me. And if they're really interested, mm-hmm. and I've built that relationship with them in that small amount of time, they do contact me. And I would say I get a call at least once a weekend from somebody.
Nice. So that's an interesting point in the fact that you don't ask for the information, but you still offer them value.
Yeah.
Because you have these reports and you have the programs that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I explain to them how quickly, like, if they say, well, we have a house to sell, and then I'm quick to like jump on and be like, okay, well, if you have a house to sell, I can do a CMA, and it takes 20 minutes, you'd barely know I was mm-hmm. there. and you'd know in a few minutes what your house is worth in this market.
Nice. So one of the things I think you're really good at is building up that level of trust in a short amount of time. How do you think you're able to do that?
I think that it's just about engaging with them. I'm not pushy at all. Like I just give them the information. I don't ask them, you know, do you have a realtor? I just answer their questions. Even if somebody comes in and they're like, I have a realtor, I still treat them like they've never had a realtor in their life, and I give them the information that I would give them. And I think that they appreciate that. And I think that that helps them feel comfortable.
Nice.
And you know, I think of it like, how do I feel when I go to the brick? I don't want someone to be on me and
following you down.
Yeah, and they're following you. So I think I just give them what I don't know. I'm a very strong believer of treat others the way you want to be treated, and that's kind of the strategy that I've been doing in real estate, and it's working for me. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
Excellent. So with those people that are reaching out to you, how are you using that to kind of, I'm going to use the word database even though you do it a little bit different, but how are you building your database or business around that?
Well, basically, you know, the people that have contacted me, if they aren't ready to buy right that minute, I'm just sending them the stuff. Like I'm sending them the 10 steps for buyers, or I'm sending them, and I'm just, you know, not constantly, like probably once a week or whatever, just checking in with them, and seeing what they need, and then hopefully, I mean, it's early days still, so I don't have a huge database, but I'm able to continue talking to those people, and it hasn't gotten so big that I'm missing opportunities, and then I'm just there when and then, you know, they send a message, and they're, you know, you send them a message, and then they're like, hey, we're still not ready. But as soon as they are ready, I'm responding as soon as they're getting back to me, and I think that makes a big difference.
Do you follow any kind of scheduled follow-up, or it's just kind of?
No, I mean, I've attended every single training and everything that everybody's doing, and the information is phenomenal, and I love it. There's just not enough. There's just not enough in my pot yet, so I'm really just, I have a little enough database that I'm able to kind of just do it periodically, and kind of, I've still got a pretty strong relationship with all the people that I've kind of built this database with, but I think I'll definitely follow that flow chart, and, you know, I've got the preferred client sending out on MailChimp and all those kind of things.
Okay. So. Would it be fair to say that you're reviewing the list of people that you're working with on a regular basis, and then you're like, okay, I haven't touched base with this person? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. And I've been lucky that a lot of the people that are contacting me from open houses have just bought houses. So, so I'm following up with those people, and I did have some clients come to the CIR party, and so the word's going to get out there as time goes on, right? People know people, and. Well, I think I wouldn't use the word lucky, because that goes into your strategy of picking the open house, right? Yes. Minnepour has been really busy. You mentioned Evergreen. It's always a busy area. So, I wouldn't consider it luck. It's some hard work. Yeah, it has definitely been hard work, but. All right. Yeah. Well, keep up the great work. I appreciate you coming on and sharing how you've been able to get such great success through your open houses, and there you go. Up next, David will be interviewing Lindsay about her social media strategy.